Your source for news and events covering current affairs across North Texas. Here's your host, Starlene Stringer.
Well, good morning and welcome to DFW Perspective with Starlene Stringer. We've got another great show lined up for you. Our special guest is Jill Cumnock. She is the CEO of the ROnald McDonald House of Dallas. Welcome to the show, Jill.
Thank you.
Well, it is a pleasure to have you. Now, I'm familiar with the ROnald McDonald House, and I've been to different locations, but a lot of people listening, of course, have heard the name Ronald McDonald, and they've heard of ROnald McDonald House, but they may not know exactly what it is the ROnald McDonald House does or offers to the community. So can you tell us all about it?
Sure. Our house is a temporary home away from home for families who travel to the Dallas area to seek medical treatment for their children at one of the Dallas area hospitals. So it really is, when people are told that your child is sick and we can't treat you here and now you're going to have to go to Dallas, they're a little bit kind of taken aback by that news, but then they're going, okay, and where am I going to stay in Dallas? Mm-hmm. And so it's really nice for them to be able to come to a ROnald McDonald House. We're very close to Children's Medical Center and to Scottish Rite Hospital, so they can remain very close to their children. They don't have to worry about having to figure out how to get around Dallas, and we take care of them when they're here.
Awesome. And when you say take care of them, I know people are listening going, well, why on earth would they need a house to stay in? Because they're thinking, well, you're at the hospital with your kids, but at some point you've got to lay down, you've got to eat, and sometimes you need someone to remind you of that. So the ROnald McDonald House offers all that, right?
We do. I think that the biggest benefit for families who stay at a ROnald McDonald House is the opportunity to meet other families who are going through a similar circumstance.
Yeah.
So, and we kind of help enable that through family-style meals. We provide all 3 meals to our families, and there's no additional cost for that. It's just that they can come. We have amazing volunteer groups that cook and serve the food for the families. We offer activities for both the parents, the grandparents, the siblings that are here, as well as the patients when they're in the house. And we just really try to kind of normalize their stay in Dallas a little bit, and certainly try to help them out as much as we can financially. A lot of times they have a loss of income because they're not working while they're here with their child, and then they have the out-of-pocket medical expenses. And so, to not have to worry about how you're going to pay for food and laundry and all of those things really makes a huge impact and really helps decrease their stress level. And we know we have studies that now show us that when the parents aren't as stressed, that helps their child get better faster. So, and keeping the families together helps that child get better faster.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I've seen those new studies and reports that actually show how stress is contagious and we pass it along to our babies, so it's important that we do have that support out there. Now, you mentioned that there's no additional fee. Is there a fee at all for the families to be at the ROnald McDonald House of Dallas?
Well, we ask for families to pay $15 a night if they can afford to do so.
Okay.
But if they can't, we never turn anybody away for the inability to pay. So our cost is over $100 a night, but we just ask that they pay $15 if they can, and if they can't, they can't. So it is a very soft ask, and I would say, especially the longer they're here, if somebody comes for 1 or 2 nights, they're likely to pay that. But if they're here for months on end, even at $15 a night, that adds up. And so they may make a small donation, but they can't afford that.
Makes sense. And so I'm going to let people find out how they can make a donation or help out or how they can volunteer their time in just a minute. But I want to ask you, what kind of families, what kind of treatments, I should say, that children are going in for that the parents are actually needing housing? Because you said sometimes they're there for a day or two, or sometimes they're there for a week, sometimes months. And people think about taking their kids to the doctor, because they have a cough or something like that. But a lot of these situations are much more serious.
Right, and currently the number one diagnosis that we see in our families is cardiology, and we are seeing a lot of babies who are born with congenital heart defects. And for some of these babies, there's several different conditions, but for a lot of them, they need multiple surgeries. And so a lot of times there's a condition where they need a surgery the first week of life, then their second surgery is at 6 months, and then the third surgery is between ages 3 and 4. Well, if they live in a small town or a town where they don't have have a cardiologist that knows how to deal with this, a lot of times they'll have to stay here until at least after that second surgery. So we see a lot of that. We have oncology patients. We have accident victims, car accident or other type of accidents, burn patients, neurology, a lot of orthopedics. We get craniofacial disorders. So, we're just very fortunate in the Dallas area to have some pretty amazing hospitals and incredible doctors. And so people really do travel not only from around the state of Texas and our bordering states, but all over the U.S., and we have international families that come here to get the treatment that they need for their children.
And when you say that, it kind of paints the picture and lets people know that we're not talking about one or two kids or one or two families that are in need of your help, but you probably house a lot of people throughout the year. About how many?
We do. We serve probably over 2,400 families a year.
Wow.
We have 52 regular rooms, and we have 6 transplant apartments for our kids after they've received a bone marrow, stem cell, or solid organ transplant. And right now, all of our transplant apartments are full. They've been full all year, and we run at about 93% occupancy. So we have families all the time, and we slow down every now and then, and we know that as we are gearing up here and it's summertime, that while the number of families continues to stay high, the number of people in our house grows because the siblings aren't in school and they can all then be here together. So we're actually going to be offering for the first time ever a little summer camp for the kids that are here during the summer so that their parents can take a little break and take a nap or get some laundry done or make a phone call. And so we're excited about that new opportunity.
It sounds like a wonderful new opportunity. And, we actually hate, or I personally hate, that there's even a need for something like this, but there is. And so it's great to know that the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas is there to help out. And I like the fact that you were able to give us kind of a picture of how many people you are helping out each year, because it's a whole lot. And obviously, it takes help. It takes money. It takes volunteers to help it all run smoothly. How can people get involved, make a donation, or maybe volunteer their time?
Well, the easiest way is to go to our website, which is www.rmhdallas.org, and they can learn about the different opportunities there. But and they can make a donation online because, like you said, as a nonprofit, we are always trying to raise much-needed dollars through a lot of different avenues, and we need people to help, cover the cost of these rooms for these families. So. And we need the volunteers we have volunteers that operate the front desk, so they get a lot of interaction with the families, or we have kitchen volunteers that help out. And then, of course, there's wonderful group opportunities for groups to come in and cook and provide a meal for a family, or to host a movie night or a game night or a craft night or some type of activity for the families. And they just, they need those distractions. They need some normalcy, and they really enjoy having the opportunity to talk to the volunteers.
Wonderful. And again, that website she mentioned is rmhdallas.org, rmhdallas.org, and you can click on that link, how you can help, and you'll see volunteer right under there. Click on that and get all the details you need to get involved and make a difference. And then also know that you can also click how you can help and find out how you can make a donation. Click that link if you'd like to give financially, if you can't give your time, or maybe you can do both. And I know they'd appreciate that too. And as she said, the families are really blessed by what people do to make a difference and give them a bit of normalcy in their life. When you log onto the website too, you'll see a lot of people wearing these orange t-shirts. And I know back in May, there was a really, really great thing going on. Everybody was wearing these shirts that are really cute, doing the Share the Love event. Tell me about that.
So this was the third year for us to do this event, and it's a great way just for the community to get involved. We asked individuals to buy a shirt for $15, and that helped cover the cost of a family to stay, and then for everybody to wear them one day and kind of just show their support for the families. And we even did a barbecue dinner and invited folks to come in and have dinner with us at the house and have that opportunity to meet some of our families. And it's just and we still have some shirts left, so if somebody missed it, it's still not too late to come by the house and get a T-shirt and wear it throughout the year. Even though we kind of focus on one day, we want people to share the love with our families every day of the year, because it really makes them feel that love and support, and kind of they need that as they're going through what I can only imagine would be the most difficult thing any parent could ever experience.
Oh, I bet. And we're going to talk more about some of the events that you have throughout the year because you have a lot of fun stuff going on. But you mentioned the house and people stopping by, and that's something else I want you to touch on, because when you talk about, oh, we have a house that you can stay at, sometimes people kind of go, oh no, is this place going to be shabby? But this is a nice place.
This is a beautiful 60,000 square foot facility. It was opened in December of 2009, so it's still relatively new. And we love to give tours of our house. We're very proud of it. It really is a great place for the families. And so anybody can come by and just ask for a tour, and we will certainly be happy to show you around, because it's got great living spaces for the families. It's got living rooms and a craft room and a movie theater, and it has an exercise room and a chapel and a library and some great playrooms and a teen room and playground and courtyard. When it was designed, it was really trying to be designed as a home away from home and a place for when these families do get a break from the hospital where they can rest and relax and have a little bit of fun.
Beautiful. And a lot of people have fun raising money to help the house, and you do it in different ways. You mentioned the T-shirts, and that's really, really cool. And don't forget, you can still get those too. There's the IShareTheLove.org website, IShareTheLove.org. And then there's also RMHDallas.org. And of course, you can stop by the house as well. And we'll give that address out in just a minute. But I also, let me give that to you now, since you're probably going, no, I want it now. It's 4707 Bingle Street, and that's in Dallas. And you can get that again at the website, RMHDallas.org. But I know that you guys have different events going on throughout the year, Jill, and I want to make sure people are aware of that. They can go onto the website. One of the popular things people always know about is the trains at North Park benefiting you, and you have a 5K and 15K runs too. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, the Trains at North Park is definitely our biggest fundraiser, and we're proud to have the Bank of Texas back again this year as our presenting sponsor. And we are gearing up. We had our kickoff in May, and the committee is hard at work, and it really is kind of a year-long kind of event for us, even though it's a 6-week event at North Park, and it always starts the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So this year that's November 2nd, and it runs through the first week in January, and it is absolutely a fabulous family tradition during the holidays for parents and kids and anybody to go and see this amazing miniature train exhibit. So that's our biggest fundraiser. But we have the Addison Rotary Open coming up in September, and the Addison Rotary does an amazing job putting on a golf tournament, and we are the sole beneficiary. They have raised over $1 million for our house in the years that they've been doing this, and it's truly incredible. So there's that coming up. You mentioned the race. We are a beneficiary of the hot chocolate race that occurs in February. We have a moonlight ball, and this year it's going to be changed up a little bit, and so kind of have to check back to the website for details on that, because we're kind of re-engineering that event, and so we're kind of excited about that. And we have a fabulous Young Friends group for our folks in their 20s and 30s who like to be philanthropic and support and volunteer organizations such as ours. We have a great Young Friends group, and they put on a fabulous party in the spring. So, those are kind of some of the main events. And, of course, we're also kicking off right now our annual fund campaign, which is simply our letter writing campaign to say, we really need your support. We have amazing families who need your help, and we can't do what we do without the support of this community.
Yeah, and so when you receive those letters in the mail, make sure you support the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas. Get involved and make a difference. You talked about some of the things you guys do to really make the lives of these families a little bit easier, a little bit better as they're dealing with some really tough times with their children. What kind of feedback do you get, Jill? I'm sure you've heard back from some of the people who've stayed at the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas.
We do, and this is the most appreciative group of people I have ever met. I mean, anytime I'm there, I always hear them going up to the volunteer group that's provided a meal, and they're thanking them. And the families that stay here for longer periods of time, as a staff, we get to know them really well, and they are so appreciative. And I was talking with one mom yesterday who's been here since her daughter was born in July, and she has had her first major open heart surgery just a couple weeks ago, and it looks like they're finally going to be able to go home in just a few weeks, and they'll be back. She's got some more surgeries ahead of her, and they'll be back. But this mom was saying, I'm so excited about getting to go home. It's been such a long time, but she said, but I'm going to really miss this place. She's like, so it's very bittersweet for her because she's made a lot of great friends. She's connected well with the staff and the volunteers that are here. And so, as I was so touched by, you would think, oh, she's going to be so ready to go home and sleep in her own bed. But, they really get so much support that sometimes it's a little hard to leave here and go back because they are so well supported when they're here. And so that means a lot to me because that's really what we're trying to do. And, our whole mission is really to support these families and to promote the health and well-being of children. And so if we can do that by supporting these families, then we've done a great job. But the families, we get feedback all the time. We do surveys with them when they leave, and they just tell us what an impact it made both emotionally, physically, and financially for them to be able to stay at our house.
Awesome. I love hearing that. And when you mentioned support, I'm curious to know when the families do stay there, you've told us about some of the things they get to enjoy. Are there also support groups specifically for different types of care? I know there's organizations like Mended Little Hearts, and you mentioned that there is a large a number of cardiac patients that have families staying with you. So do you guys have different groups that they meet with?
We really didn't. I mean, we do a lactation support group. We have somebody come over from UT Southwestern to do that just because we have so many new moms, and so that we have found that to be helpful. And we've talked about that. The support that they get, they kind of do a lot of that informally, and I'll walk out. Just the other day I walked out we have a great porch with rocking chairs that opens into our courtyard.
Nice.
And I walked out and there were several moms sitting there with their babies and they were rocking, and one of the moms said, oh, we're just having our little support group this morning. I mean, so they kind of do it on their own.
That's awesome.
And I don't know that there's anything that we could do that would be better than what they initiate by themselves, but
makes sense.
And they just know that we're here for them. And some of that they also get through the hospitals.
Huh. Awesome. I was just curious about that. And when you talk about them having their children with them, maybe children who are not sick, they're just with their moms, how is school handled? Are there children that come with their siblings that have to go to local schools, or what takes place?
There is. We kind of see a variety of everything. So sometimes siblings will come and they'll get enrolled in the local elementary schools, and sometimes it's also the patients end up being enrolled as well. So they're not ready to go home, but they're well enough to be going to school, so they get enrolled in the school. When they're in the hospital and they're there for a period of time, then they get a homebound teacher through DISD, and then when they come here, that teacher follows them. So we see that. And then we have some kids, depending on what their family situation is, and if the siblings really want to be here while their sibling goes through their cancer treatment and they all come, sometimes the parents will homeschool, and then sometimes we just have teachers who send work with them. It just depends on the length of stay and kind of what the family choice is. And we do have a lot of teachers who volunteer here, either in the evenings and then sometimes in the summers. And so it's always great to have those teacher volunteers, so when we need to, we can provide a volunteer to help with some tutoring and school support.
Sounds good. And Jill, let me ask you this. What is the greatest need, or what would you say is the greatest need right now for the Ronald McDonald House Dallas? Maybe financial, volunteers, all of the above? What do y'all need?
I would have to say financial. It is, that is always, any nonprofit, the number one need that we all have is that financial support. Because, we really do depend upon the community to help us do what we do. And so, we are always fundraising 24/7. And for us, we see these families every day, and we're just like, oh, if you were to meet these families, if you were to come to this house, anybody and everybody would want to help them, because we can all appreciate what they're going through. And whether you have children or not, it's heartbreaking to see a child not feeling good, or who's lost their hair due to chemotherapy, or who's been burned in an accident, or who may look perfect on the outside, but inside that heart's not working right. So really the financial support is the number one need that we have. Well,
if you can help out in any way, if that be financially or by donating your time, please log on to their website and make a difference today. It's rmhdallas.org, rmhdallas.org. And as Jill's told us, there's other ways you can help. There's all kind of events that they offer throughout the year. Log on to their website, rmhdallas.org, to see what they are. But I can tell you again, they've got a run for those of you who like getting involved in exercising, a run for chocolate, which makes it even better. That takes place each year. They have the Young Friends Party. If you're in the younger ages, 20s and 30s, and you like to get involved and make a difference, or even for kids of all ages, you can check out the Trains at North Park, and that happens right after Thanksgiving, as Jill mentioned, and it continues all through the Christmas holiday. A lot of folks have made that a family tradition, and hopefully you will too. They've got the Moonlight Ball, the Addison Rotary Open, which is for golfers. So there's really something for everyone. Or if you just want to give money without doing any of those things, you can do that anytime at rmhdallas.org. And you can also donate your time by logging on to that website, clicking how you can help, and then clicking on volunteer. And then don't forget, they do still have those t-shirts that we talked about a bit earlier. If you would like one of the lovely Share the Love t-shirts, log on to the rmhdallas.org website and see how you can get yours today. Jill, I know you're a busy, busy woman, and we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to tell us all about the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas and how we can help you continue to make a difference.
Thank you, Starlene. I always love to talk about the Ronald McDonald House.
We love to hear about it. Thank you, and thank you for all you do, and thank you for listening to DFW Perspective with Starlene Stringer. Have a blessed week.